Lately, so many of us are taking full advantage of all the beauty that our desert has to offer. So how can we support our Sonoran Desert? By simply supporting Arizona Land and Water Trust. Liz Petterson, the executive director of the nonprofit organization, is here this morning to tell us how they protect Arizona's working landscapes, farms, ranches, wildlife habitat, all of it. Great to have you here, Liz.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks for having us.
So for most of us who haven't heard of this organization, or some of us, I would say, tell us about the mission.
Sure. Absolutely. So Arizona Land and Water Trust, our mission is to protect Arizona's landscapes, its farms and ranches, wildlife habitat, and the waters that sustain these areas. So land trusts, if people haven't heard of them, most people haven't, they are 501c3 nonprofit organizations, and there are about 1,100 of them across the country, and they all have sort of different missions depending on the location and what their local environment looks like. But they're all out there doing really good work, and our organization, those land trusts lead anywhere from completely voluntary to staffs of 30 or more, and we have a local staff of 8 here in Tucson.
So you're the giant umbrella that they fall under, it sounds like. They look to you.
Yeah, so they actually, we're all our own individual land trusts in different states, so we just represent, do most of our work in southern Arizona, so.
Tell us about some of the programs that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 3 major programs. We have our land transactions program. What we do is we work with willing landowners who come to us and want to protect their landscapes. And in many cases, because we're here in southern Arizona, there are a lot of farms and ranches here. And they run into situations where they would like to protect their farm or ranch forever. It's a big part of their family legacy. Our Arizona heritage is so important, these amazing landscapes, and growing local food is so critical. And so we basically see ourselves as problem solvers, and we connect with agency funding that is out there, whether it's federal, state, municipal, or even foundation funding, and also kind of match make funding sources that are available for conservation to appropriate land protection projects.
Well, and even though you're doing that for them, all of us benefit from what you do. I mean, we love to just see the open spaces.
I think so. And also there's other benefits too. You know, when you think of these large landscapes, we have water situations here in southern Arizona, throughout the country really, and when you protect a really, really large landscape, you're creating a place for water to recharge in our aquifers. There's these large pockets of water under the ground all around us, and that's how we keep our water supplies healthy. There's also creates areas for wildlife to bloom and prosper, and also it's very important that we have places to grow our food locally. I was personally, and I know so many of us, was in the grocery store the other day, and empty aisles everywhere. And I said to myself, boy, I was reminded that the work of land trusts and the work of protecting agricultural lands is critical, because we need to have local food local.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we want to know where they are coming from, make sure that they don't have a whole bunch of chemicals.
Right.
Just the other day I was like, well, we're growing oranges and we're getting chickens.
Yeah.
So you have some projects that are coming up.
Yeah, we do. So one of the other programs we have is called our Desert Rivers program. And so speaking of water, it's a program that we started back in 2007. And so we have these sort of land transaction toolbox that we work with to preserve landscapes. But what about the water? And so agriculture is Arizona's biggest water user. And we said, well, if we're trying to sustain agriculture and we also want to protect our desert rivers and streams, which sometimes can be affected by pumping for agriculture, how do we sort of benefit, how do we create a mutually beneficial program so that our Desert Rivers program works with agricultural landowners to help them with incentive-based agreements lower their water use, so that we might be able to explore different plants that they might be able to grow that aren't so heavy on our water sources. And then also that has a direct relationship in many cases to sustaining or bringing back water flows in our rivers, and that of course is important for habitat, and also people love to walk along river systems. So the Desert Rivers program is really important as well. And then really our third program, we have an education and outreach program called Ranching into the Future, and it's a way that we bring our organization out into the communities. We provide free workshops, and we bring sustainability tools to the landowners who attend those workshops in rural communities, and it can be everything from estate planning or coming up with an attractive label for your grass-fed beef. And so a professional marketer will come in and say, do this and maybe don't do that. And so these workshops are free, and we have 50 to 100 people show up, and it also gives us a platform to talk about the work that we do. And we partner with the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension Office to put those on. So that's sort of the three-legged stool of the trust: the land, the water program, and the education and outreach.
Well, you deserve awards, and I know I have to get this in. You do have some recognition recently.
Thank
Tell
you.
us about that.
Yeah, so we do have an actual umbrella organization called the Land Trust Alliance, and they do policy work and advocate and create educational programs for land trusts all over the country. And we were really honored that back in 2016 we won their Land Trust Excellence Award, which is really kind of the land trust of the year out of all of those land trusts in the country. So we're really proud of that, and we thank our supporters and our program partners for the work that they do for us so that we were able to be here and accept that award. It's pretty amazing.
That is awesome. I know all of us play a role in protecting our desert and making sure that we're conserving, especially when it comes to our water.
Yeah.
But you're the heavy hitters, and we need to back you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for the opportunity to share our work. Thanks.
To make a charitable donation to Arizona Land and Water Trust, or to learn more about the organization, you can call them at 520-577-8654, or you can visit them online at alwt.org.